sometimes you're going to take them type of beats.
Yeah, dude, I took a lot of them there for a while. That's why I took a break.
Yeah, I just been riding. I've been playing with house money for a while, but that house money has been dwindling fast.
It's dwindling fast.
Shit.
I'm still up for $350.
There you go.
I don't even want to talk about it.
All right.
Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to this playoff edition of Bets and Buds. We got college playoffs. We got NFL playoffs. I'm Jason Smokin Tokun.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to this live action here that we got here for this playoff time in football season.
It is playoff time. The regular season's over.
We're getting towards the end. Which is always a sad time. But this is a good time because this is the best playoff football and the best time to bet on football.
Oh, yeah. This is the best time
to bet. Best time to bet on football because nobody's going to send anybody out for injuries. Nope. If them motherfuckers can play, they are going to place.
And all your dogs are going.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's get this party started, brother. All right, so let's dive into this college football slate before we get anything going here.
Has anything surprised you at all?
Not really. Honestly, not really. I mean, I'm being a Notre Dame fan. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that they beat Georgia the way they did, as handily as they beat
handled
Georgia.
Them pretty good.
But watching this Marcus Freeman team outside that Northern Illinois game, which I still don't know how the hell they lost that shit. That's why I don't bet on college football typically by nature, because you just never know. But I don't know how the hell they lost that fucking game.
Was that in Notre Dame too?
Yes, it was in ND. Okay. It was at ND. It was a 16-13 game. I mean, it was the most pathetic offensive performance.
Some days you just don't have it.
But you know what? That might be something that propels them to really like to push and kind of go forward. Just the same thing with Ohio State losing to Michigan right before the playoffs. That it kind of propelled them, woke them up, and said, "Wake the fuck up."
They're beast mode right now.
And that's the beauty of when you have an actual playoff, because these teams get to respond, where suppose in years past, you lose a game like that, your season's over.
Right.
Automatically. You lose a game like that, the season's over. So at least now you actually have a chance to kind of redeem yourself and go forward. So there's not really a whole lot. I mean, the Final Four, I like the way it's laid out and the way it's set up right now. I mean, Notre Dame and Penn State is a good matchup. Ohio State and Texas looks like it's going to be a good matchup. I'm a little worried about the finals, depending on who gets there and how. But we'll see what happens.
I'm saying Notre Dame, Ohio State.
That's kind of where I'm leaning to. So, with that being said, Notre Dame's favored by 1.5. They're playing. It's in the Cotton Bowl, so they're. I mean, actually, I'm sorry, it's in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, no, it's in the Orange Bowl because Texas.
Yeah, Texas is now in the Cotton Bowl, and they got that snowstorm that's supposed to happen. So we'll see what happens there. But so tomorrow night we got Notre Dame and Penn State. They're 1.5 point favorites. The over under was at 45.5. 45.5.
Ooh, I'd have to go under on that.
I went under on that one. I did. So I went under on that one. I like Notre Dame to win this game outright and go ahead and finish off Penn State, just because their defense is really, really stout. I mean, they play very, very stout defense, and I mean, I think they got enough plays on offense where they can make some big things happen in big situations. Was it Tyler Aller? I think not Tyler Aller. It's was it Drew Aller? I think it's the quarterback's name for Penn State. Tyler Austin, I think it's not Austin. It's not even Tyler Austin. The tight end is like their big playmaker.
Oh yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about.
He's their big playmaker. So I mean, he makes big plays, but he can't necessarily stretch the field. And Xavier Watts is a conference national All-American, hands down. So I feel like he can pretty much kind of lock him down. That's going to be a kind of Sunday matchup, so to speak, between him and Tyler Warren. That's what it is. Tyler Warren. All right, so Tyler Warren and Xavier Watts, that's going to probably be the big matchup to watch during that game there. Notre Dame has a very stout defense, so I kind of see them pulling this game out in the long run.
Yeah, I agree
unless they mess up on the special team end. Now, as far as Ohio State and Texas, Ohio State looks like they're humming, man. I mean, honestly, this is, in my opinion, I would say this. I mean, and as a Notre Dame fan, I would love to see them win a national championship. But
they'd boat race them?
Man, it's not even that I think they'll boat race them. I can see it be a tight game, because even a couple years ago when they played it in South Bend, I mean, the game was a 14-13 game. It was down at the last stretch, the last-minute touchdown by Travion Henderson. So, I mean, I like Ohio State to actually go and win this game convincingly, in my opinion. They're going to be 5.5 point favorites. Texas is solid, but I just don't think they're going to be able to handle the physicality
they do not have a win over a top 25 team.
No, they do not. And again, like I said, I think the physicality Ohio State is going to provide. Jeremiah Smith is a stud, and even if you take him away, you got Mbuke. You got, I mean, there's a lot of weapons. You got two running backs, Judkins. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. So it's basically going to be Will Howard's game to lose, in my opinion. So if Will Howard plays a shit game, that's going to be where the only way Ohio State loses this game, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, and I like the over at this one at 53.5.
Yeah, I would go the over.
Yeah,
I think there'll probably be a few more points scored.
Yeah, I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be a big fireworks game by a long shot. Okay. So, All right, so that's the college football playoff. We'll see what happens. We got that Thursday night, Friday night slate. So as long as we don't have any weather delays or anything like that, we're down there in Texas.
That'll make it interesting. They're supposed to get hammered down there, though.
Yeah, they are.
They're really supposed to get hammered.
And hammered for Texas because they're not prepared for that shit.
They're talking like 8 to 10 inches.
Well, supposedly they already got a little brine salt mixture thing they've already been throwing down. So we'll see what happens. They'll be a lot more prepared than the last Super Bowl that they had in 2005 when they weren't prepared for that ice storm they got at all. I mean, that was a disaster for any of the people that were down there at that game. All right, so next up we got the Chargers at the Texans here. The NFL slate, the Wild Card Weekend kicks off. The Chargers at the Texans on a Saturday. On a Saturday. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Chargers in this one, and I'll tell you why. Because they're going to come with that run game first. They've got McConkey going over the middle, hitting the out routes. I mean, they're just going to keep it short, simple, and I think they're just going to pound Houston down.
Oh, yeah, I think they're going to wear him down. Houston's got a lot of injuries right now. They got Shahir Aziz is coming back, or however you say his name.
Well, he hasn't played in
he hasn't played in 3 games, but I mean, he's a linebacker, so that's just a read and react position. So it's not like it's going to hurt him sitting out. He's probably going to be like fresh and ready to fly around and ready. But again, that's where I can also even see somebody like Jim Harbaugh that's a smart coach like that. With them coming with a game plan where they take advantage of him sitting out like he is, being an aggressive player.
Right.
A lot of play action, passes and stuff like that.
Run at him.
Oh, yeah, run at him a little bit early, and then they do some play action passes at him that they just leave wide open, some wheel routes to the tight ends and so on from there. So I'm with you on that one. I like the Chargers in this game.
Yeah, I like the Chargers to win this one. They're 2.5-point favorites right now going into Houston. So I think they cover that.
I think so too.
I think they beat them by at least
2.5. Yes, absolutely, 2.5.
But I actually like the under in this one. Houston just hasn't shown me enough lately. I mean, they're really banged up on offense right now. They lost another. I think they lost another offensive lineman last week.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
So I just don't think they're going to score much, and the Chargers typically only score about 22 points a game anyway. So
right. So, I mean, I can see it kind of going on. It's only 42.5 is what I got it at.
42.
So 42.5. I mean, I can see it going either way on that end on the over-under. It's kind of like that perfect sweet number for them.
It is because Houston averages like 21 points a game.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's 43 right there.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. So I can see it go either way. So I picked the over on that one because of that. So we're in total agreement outside the over.
Now, Dobbins is questionable for this game, but he's been questionable just about every
He's going to be questionable the rest of the season. Yeah, he's going to be questionable the rest of the season, but he's playing. That's part of the reason why they probably picked up Zeke Elliott, to put on the practice squad. You won't see him on the field anytime soon.
No,
but
not this week probably. Unless they make it the next week.
Unless push comes to shove. All right, so the next up, we got the interdivision rivalry. The Steelers versus the Ravens. These teams split these games.
They did. Here. Each team won their game at home.
The Steelers have looked rough.
The Steelers have not looked good lately.
Yeah, the Steelers have looked rough.
They've looked bad. But they're getting 9.5 points. And I believe they know Baltimore well enough. And this
better than anybody.
It's always hard to beat that opponent for the second time. So either way, I think this one stays a lot closer than 9.5.
Oh, yeah.
Unless Baltimore actually just runs them off the field.
And I don't see that happening.
And I really don't
see that happening.
Tomlin will have his, even though they have been playing bad lately, he'll have his team with some semblance of fight.
But what you also have to keep in mind is when they played that game, they were in a stretch of 3 games in an 11-day stretch. The Steelers, the Ravens were coming off a bye, and the Steelers weren't.
Right.
So the Ravens actually were able to mentally prepare for that 3 games, 11-day stretch. The Steelers weren't. So for me, I like the Steelers to actually keep that game close to 9.5 points. I actually think the Steelers might win this game.
Really?
Yes, I actually think the Steelers might win this game. And contrary to what I want to see happen, I think the Steelers are actually might be going to win this game because this is actually the worst nightmare the Ravens could have had.
Lamar Jackson does not have good games.
Does not have good games against them, and this is an interdivision rivalry. And like you said, you're playing to get a team for the third time. You're going to get this matchup. The Steelers are not afraid of Lamar Jackson. They're very familiar with him. They're very familiar with the offense. Zay Flowers is out of this game right now, so they lost a lot of big play capabilities down the field.
And we watched them do it last year. Can they commit to the run?
I can see him commit to the run, but
they've got Henry this year. It's
I can see him commit to the run, but the thing is, though, with the Steelers, that you're probably playing in the Steelers' hands in this game.
You could be.
In this game, you're actually probably playing in the Steelers' hands in this game if you commit to the run too hard and try to think I'm going to because you're not going to physically dominate the Steelers.
But you don't want to try and put it on the back of Jackson again because we see how that turns out.
Lamar Jackson can do whatever the fuck he wants to. When Lamar Jackson makes up his mind, he's going to do. The dude, he established a new 4,900 club. Like, he established a new 4,900 club.
It's crazy what he's doing.
I mean, like, he's just, Lamar Jackson
is crazy what he's doing.
He is freakish what he's doing. But
he should be the MVP.
But the Steelers know how to shut that down. The Steelers know how to shut that down.
If you go back and look at his stats for the season, probably his 2 worst games were against the Steelers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so, for me, I'm actually going to go with the under on this one at 43.5 with that being said.
Okay, with that being said, I like the over in this one because 43.5 just seems really low to me. Both of these teams can light it up when they want to.
They just always hit the under, though.
Every time. Well, it was 34-17 the last time.
And that was one of the first times.
That was last time.
That was one of the first times it hit the over in a long time. Yeah. Really.
But I like Baltimore to win this game. Give me the over, and Pittsburgh to cover that 9.5 points for sure. Right but you like the under.
Yes, I like the under at 42.5.
And Pittsburgh to win? Yes,
I like Pittsburgh to win. Actually, I can see them pull up this upset. I've been shooting. My record's been shite. It's been fucking shitty this season. So,
we'll talk about that next week. We'll break some stats down for you next week.
All right, so next up we got the Browns at the Bills. Broncos at the Bills. Broncos at the Bills.
You can't take anything away from last week's game. Kansas City put out a terrible team.
It was their JV team that was basically playing to get through the last season.
But it was nice for Denver to get back into the playoffs for the first time in a while. They've got the rookie quarterback, good on Sean Payton. I mean, with that dead money that they're sitting on this year and all that, they've still managed to put together a playoff team. With that being said, they're getting 8.5 points, and I like that 8.5 points for Denver.
So do I.
So I will take that 8.5 points. I'll go the over in this game. 46.5 seems a little low to me, but I like Buffalo to ultimately win this.
I had 47.5, and I still took the over. And I like Buffalo to win this game too as well. So I like. I'd say we're pretty much in total agreement on this one.
I mean, Denver. Yes, they're a playoff team. I just don't think they're there yet.
I don't think they're there yet, but you know what? I honestly, 110% hand to God, would not be shocked if the Broncos won this game. If that was going to be the upset of the week, that would be the one I would probably say. There? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so next up we got the Packers at the Eagles.
You go ahead and start this one.
Rematch of week one.
It is a rematch
of week one, but that was a game. And it was not only that, it was a game in Brazil, suspect track. Jordan Love got hurt early in the game. There was a lot of things that went on that, for this matchup here that really. Now let's see how healthy Jalen Hurts is because he's been in concussion protocol for the last 2 weeks. He did practice today. He did practice today. So he said the Packers are 4.5-point dogs on the road against the Eagles. I actually like the Packers to cover that 4.5 points. But I think the Eagles will still pull out the victory, maybe in a 3-point last-second field goal win. Let's go back and forth because the Packers have shown even when they fall behind, they can
claw their way back.
They do have the firepower to get back in it.
But they lost Watson last week.
Yeah, but Watson has been hurt all year, though. Honestly, we've probably seen Watson's last days in a Packer uniform. Honestly, because he's been hurt his entire time that he's been there. He's had those little teasers of explosion.
Yeah, it's always
but you know why? He's got those long, fast twitch muscles, and long, fast twitch muscles are always suspect because he's a tall dude. The dude's like 6'4", but he's got that fast switch operator. I remember when Aaron Rodgers, when they first drafted him, and he was like, man, I've never seen a guy that runs like him. The way he moves. He moves like a freaking giraffe. But that's hard to kind of sustain that type of long, fast twitch muscle fiber reaction if you aren't training your body properly. So he's going to have to get in the lab and make sure he trains that body. But after torn ACL, he's definitely going to have to get in the lab.
Yeah, he's definitely big time.
So, but I like the Packers to cover, but Eagles to win that. And I like the over at 45.5.
Okay, I like the over as well. I think this one will be a little much of a like 27-24.
Yeah, I can see it be a nice little shootout back and forth.
I do think the Eagles pull it off at home. Now, if Kenny Pickett starts that game, there's no way. I
just don't see how Kenny. If Jalen Hurts practiced today, there's no way Kenny.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I would think the line would reflect it too if Kenny Pickett was start.
The only thing that I don't like, honestly, to a degree, is that the fact that they sat their starters for their last game.
Okay.
That I maybe and not giving Saquon that chance. And I get it. I understand why the thought process.
Man, if he goes out there and breaks his leg,
if he gets hurt or like a lineman gets hurt, because if you start Saquon, then you got to start all your offensive line, everything else. So I understand why they did it, but sometimes there's something about that momentum of keeping it going and keeping that ball rolling because the Eagles were playing good football. So then they won against the Giants last week, because it was the Giants. But again, there's none of their starters.
But wouldn't you just treat it like any other bye though? Kind of
Yes, to a degree, but it's still playoff football, so the intensity ramps up, and so any guys that aren't used to that, and mind you, the Packers are a young team, so it's not like they're used to it, but they did also last year come out and defeated Cowboys team who was running it hot. They were running hot, and they dominated them.
Yes,
so if the Eagles fall behind early, the Eagles are not a team to be able to come back from behind. So that's the only thing that I would be concerned about with the Eagles from their standpoint coming forward.
All right. Well, I agree with you on the over and the Eagles winning, but I will take the Eagles to cover that 4.5 points.
All right. Right on. All right, so next up we got the Commanders at the Buccaneers. This is going to be an exciting game, actually.
I think this is going to be an exciting game.
I think it's going to be a very exciting game.
I think this is where the Buccaneer magic ends, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think Washington goes down there and gets it done.
Yeah.
Great, I have 2 teams in the playoffs.
Oh,
I know Tampa's riding high right now. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not. There's no reason that I'm going off of like any kind of knowledge or digging deep into the numbers. I just think Washington pulls this one off.
I think the Bucs are going to win this game.
Okay.
It's a home game for the Bucs. I think they've been playing good football all season long. One of the Detroit's only one of 2 losses was against the Bucs.
To the Bucs.
So I mean, like the Bucs know how to play good, solid football. I think if they get a little bit healthier here coming in this week, I think the Buccaneers have a really good chance because the Commanders, you got Jaden Daniels. You look at rookie quarterback records into the playoffs. It isn't very high.
They're not good.
I want to say it's like 2-9 or something like that in the last 12 years.
And doesn't Baker have one of those?
Yeah, I think Baker has one. Because he won with Cleveland. Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. Baker's a gunslinger, and he's been playing good ball. He was my MVP on my fantasy team. Helped me win the championship.
Right, he did.
Jaden Daniels. I mean, I liked him. I like what he's shown. But again, I just like what the Buccaneers have been showing on the field this year. So I like them to cover that game, actually win it. And I like the under at 50 and a half.
I do like the under in this one. I agree with you on the under.
I don't see as many points being scored as what the book is predicting right now.
Right.
And I see why they put that number that way because
this is the highest number on the board.
Yeah, I mean, and I see why they did that because they were trying to go like, okay, both these teams can put up a lot of points, and you're gonna get a lot of people.
And this is going to be your Sunday night final game.
Because especially with people with the public almost always goes with the over. Almost always, like majority-wise, always goes with the over. So that's why I like the under in this game.
Okay.
All right, so the next one, we got a Monday night rematch from the regular season. We got the Vikings at the Rams. So the Rams gave one of the Vikings their only losses, one of the 3 losses out of the season.
They did.
They had back-to-back losses when they lost to Detroit and lost to the Rams after that too as well. The Rams are 1.5-point dogs at home. Now, first off, the biggest thing we got to talk about is shout out to everybody out there in L.A. that's going through what you're going through.
I know the fires.
True on the track, you're out there in L.A. I saw that you posted you're doing good. Good to hear it, homie.
Be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe out there, homie. I mean, man, it sucks. I mean, because right now it's kind of open air stadium. Let's see what happens if they're going to get this game in on Monday, if they have to move locations.
Yeah, they could end up having
because they might go play this game up in fucking Santa Clara or wherever San Francisco plays their game. I mean, that might have to move.
The last I heard, they were not doing very well in containing.
No, it's bad because I mean, like apparently, I mean, I don't get into politics and all that shit like that, but apparently Governor Newsom didn't refill the reservoirs.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
that. All the time.
I don't live in California.
There's no fire hydrants working right now, apparently, from what I hear. Like, no fire hydrants.
That's not good.
You got wildfires burning the whole city down with no fire hydrants working right now. So that sucks. But either way, I actually, believe it or not, what I saw last week with Sam Darnold is what I saw of Sam Darnold most of his career.
Yeah.
And I feel like if things start to get tight in this game and the Rams can put up offense, and you're not gonna worry Matthew Stafford. You're not gonna shake Matthew Stafford.
He's seen it all.
I mean, he's seen it all. He's done it all. And then even if he threw 2 picks in the first quarter, he's not gonna get rattled. But Sam Darnold starts getting a little bit of that pressure, that young defensive line that the Rams have. They're tough.
It's legit. No, they're legit.
Jared versus he's a dog. I mean, there's a lot of pressure they can put on them. And if they fall behind early, I can just see this kind of running in a bad direction for the Vikings. 1.5-point dogs on the road.
I think the Vikings lose this game.
I do too. You and I are in total agreement. And I like the over at 47.5.
You like the over?
Yeah, I like the over because I can see this kind of get down to be like a little shootout. Like as they have to go back and forth at the end.
We've seen the Rams put up 40 on
on good
year.
teams.
Yeah, on good teams.
Good teams. Yes.
Okay, I'm going with the under just because it's a playoff game. I like the defensive.
Yeah.
I want the defensive. Keep it tight, 23-21 tight.
And I also think because it also adds a little bit more controversy in that narrative with Sam Darnold. with Sam Darnold having to go in because
he looked really bad last week.
He looked really bad last week, but also they go on like everybody's saying like, what did they do? Did they bring J.J. McCarthy back?
Right.
Did they sign a big extension? So maybe this helps make the conversation a little bit easier in that front office for the Vikings if Sam Darnold looks like the Sam Darnold we've seen.
If he looks bad again, you almost have to say,
then at that
was
point,
a good ride.
Yeah, then at this point, like, am I really going to? Because you got to look at Jacksonville.
Right.
Like, Jacksonville has to be kicking them. I won't say they're kicking themselves, but $55 million for Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't won shit yet. That's a high ticket price.
So I think the Rams actually win this game. Stafford's just got too much experience, like you said, to get rattled. He's going to get that offense humming.
Puka's healthy. Kyron Williams has looked good.
Cope's healthy.
Tyler Higbee is back in like full swing again. The offensive line is healthy. So I like the Rams actually to pull this one off here.
I do too.
All right. So the next up, we got to hear is I got a couple Smokin Tokun hot parlays, which I need desperately in this playoff run, people. I need fucking desperately in this playoff run.
Yeah, for the season, I got stopped betting a while ago, about a month ago. I went on a real bad losing streak. For the season, I'm still up $10.
I'm not even going to go where I'm at right now. I know I'm not up. I've been placing a lot of bets, probably more than I have in seasons past, as far as consistency of bets week after week. Because I've had a lot of seed money to play with. But right now, I'm going this playoff run to kind of get me back on a good track.
No, I'm definitely going over this weekend.
So I like the Chargers actually to win this game, their game on Saturday on the money. And then I like Nico Collins anytime touchdown, J.K. Dobbins anytime touchdown, and then Lad McConkey over 72.5 yards receiving is at plus 1141.
Okay.
Plus 1141. So I kind of like that juice right there. So I'm kind of going and lean that way. Then next up I got the Steelers. I like to cover at 9.5 on their game. George Pickens to win, score a touchdown. Lamar Jackson over 50.5 yards rushing, and Mark Andrews over 44.5 yards receiving. Oh, yeah. That's at plus 1420. So those are my little sweet spots right there for those two games on Saturday that I'm leaning towards for the Smokin Tokun hot parlays.
I like that. I got a couple of 6-leggers here. So I went a 6-leg anytime touchdown. Took one from each game. Give me Dobbins in the Chargers game. Score the touchdown. Henry for Baltimore. Allen for Buffalo. Barkley for Philly, Robinson Jr. for Washington, and Jones for Minnesota. That's plus 48.15.
I like that one, Bobby. I like that. I might ride with you on that one. I like that shit.
And then I've got another one here, which is just a yardage 6-legger. I took one from each game again, but I double dipped on one of the players here. I got Stafford and Mayfield over 225 passing on both of those. McConkey and Shakir plus 60 yards passing each, or receiving each. Dobbins plus 60 yards rushing, that's where I double dipped, and Jackson plus 50 yards rushing for plus 24.92.
Nice. I like those. The only thing that's always tough is when you do the those leg parlays, because all it takes is one loss and it
kills the whole thing.
All right, so we got Director Dave's not so dumbass pick this week, but anytime this is not a bad one actually. Here we're in the playoff time, so this is where it gets a little sweeter. So we got Justin Herbert anytime touchdown, Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Terry McLaurin, and Puka Nacua anytime touchdown is at plus 9,881. Plus 9,881 for Director Dave's dumbass pick of the week. Oh, you know what? I like that one, Dave. That's not a bad one either, though. I like that one. That's good shit.
What was the last one, Dave? Puka,
yeah, Puka. He's due. Puka's due to get in, man.
He hasn't scored a whole lot of touchdowns.
He was on the run in the last couple of weeks when I was picking his ass. He wasn't getting in the fucking end zone. But that's gambling, baby.
That is gambling.
That's gambling, baby. That's how it goes. Sometimes you're gonna take them type of beats.
Yeah, dude, I took a lot of them there for a while. That's why I took a break.
Yeah, I just been riding. I've been playing with house money for a while, but that house money has been dwindling fast.
It's dwindling fast.
Shit.
I'm still up for $350.
There
you go.
I don't even want to talk about it.
All right. I'll just throw this in there on the last thing. That Blues loss last night was super disappointing. You cannot be up 4-2 on the Wild, a team you're chasing in the standings. They pulled their goalie, and you lose that game 6-4. Man. That cannot happen until... I thought the Blues were getting ready to turn a corner, too. They had won 4 of 5 games, and then they pulled that last night. It might be time to start talking about Bennington. He's not playing well this year. His save percentage is under 900. It's 896. His goals against average is way up there. And Hofer's actually been your better goalie on the season.
Well, you know what? Hockey season starts for me in about a month and a half.
Yeah. They are They are 19, 19, and 4, so they're just one game through, a little over halfway through the season. They've got to start picking up some points, or they are going to be on the outside looking in again.
Yeah, they got time though. They got time to get hot. Just in time for me to pay attention to them once after the Super Bowl.
But they do have 23 of the last 40 or 39 games at home.
Nice. So. Oh yeah. So they'll be in good shape. They'll be in good shape. Well, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Add to the comment section. Make sure you guys keep shouts out to Director Dave, keeping us up on the 1s and 2s. True on the track for blessing us with those beats. We're keeping this party going for you guys all through playoff season, all day long. Make sure you guys keep following along with us as we keep this party going for you. I'm Jason Smokin Tokun.
I'm Bobby Light.
See you next week.
Peace.